Hey, everybody. I hope that everything's going well. Um, we're going to get started in just a moment. Let me just get set up. Do this. All right. Just going to put out the word that we're going live right now. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. We'll get started in just a moment. Actually, second, just need to delete this. And okay, put it on Discord. This size to start. Here we go. All right. I think we put it out everywhere now. There's something wrong here. Oh, I need to edit the video name. There we go. This over here. Add this. And okay. We're ready to get started. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. I hadn't had a chance to do a live stream this week, so what better thing to do on a Sunday than to talk about code. So yeah, so today what I thought would be good to do is I've been, of course, building this DJ app for the past few weeks, and I realized one thing that I realized is that I've never actually taken any time to put together any type of roadmap or any type of trajectory or any type of milestones in terms of what we're trying to achieve with this DJ app. So I thought that a good starting point could be to start creating a little bit of a roadmap and sharing that with you. So I'm doing my best to not do, I'm doing my best to live stream all the work that I'm doing on this app. And so that people have an opportunity to see not only how we work through this, but also the struggles that come with it as well, and to help show people that it's not like what you see in the movies. So I'm hoping that this actually becomes something that will be helpful for people. However, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to turn out like. So we're all going on this adventure, and I hope that you have the patience to bear with my mistakes as well as my successes. So and I hope that you celebrate the successes with me as well. So yeah, so this is what we have so far. It's a essentially it's an audio player at the moment, where you can load a file, and I can open it. When I open it, it creates a thumbnail that shows the waveform of the audio. I can raise and lower the volume here, and we can play it, and you can stop it. That's essentially what it does at the moment. And we got this little animated circle here. also has a progress bar that goes around the circle. So the further that you get into the song, the more that this circle turns orange. So it's pretty cool. And I have this settings menu right now. It's just kind of using the default JUCE look and feel. And you can change the output and the input of it. And yeah, that's cool. So if you're looking for figuring out how to do things like opening up a second window within your application or within your plugin, you can look through the code. The code is all open source. It's in the video description, and you can check it out. So I've been thinking a lot about what I'd like to work on today, and you know, there have been a lot of things that I've been thinking about. One thing that I've been thinking about is about this thumbnail. So at the moment, it's using the JUCE audio thumbnail class, which is a good one for getting waveforms set up and visualizing audio. However, I've been thinking a lot about this. I wanted to eventually do something that was more of a Serato style waveform. So I can show you what that means in just a moment. Where you actually get a sense of the power. I don't know why I just opened Ableton, but where you can get a sense of the power spectrum of the audio. So I'll open up Serato. So of course, you know, Serato is like a great kind of gold standard for where to look for inspiration for a DJ application. And we of course wouldn't be able to. It would take us a very long time to be able to implement all of the features that an application like Serato has. There's actually a great open source DJ application on GitHub as well called, I think it's called Mix, MIXXX, and that has many of the features that Serato has as well. So you can see a lot of, but it's a huge, humongous app, and maybe a little bit tricky to navigate for people who haven't been in this world for a very long time. So I wanted to build this piece by piece so people can see how the application progresses over time and do that. So so as I was saying before, one of the things that I would like to do is I would like to actually make it where this waveform has more like kind of an indication of the power spectrum of the waveform. So as you can see, the lower that it is, the more green it becomes, and the higher it becomes, the more red it becomes. So a friend of mine, Martin, told me that this is a spectral centroid that would be the approach for doing this, but it would be difficult for us to inject this into the the audio thumbnail class in JUCE. You can't just go in there, and there's no kind of inflection point where you can actually go in and just insert that type of code. So we would have to roll out our own wave drawing, wave thumbnail class. So I started looking into that the other day, and so I was looking at how JUCE implements theirs. And I was also speaking to my friend Martin about this, and he was and a couple other people in the audio programmer Discord, and they were giving some helping hints on approaches, different approaches to this. And then I started trying to implement it. I had some challenges around it. So and it took me down this rabbit hole where I started looking at just how JUCE implemented their audio thumbnail class, and then that took me down this rabbit hole of looking at some classes that I'm not so familiar with, like time slice client, time slice thread, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I thought that might be a little bit heavy to go into at this point. There are some other things that we could probably do at the moment that's a little bit more low-hanging fruit, easier to implement, and will move us along the path quicker, rather than taking a deep dive right away into how to visualize waveforms. So of course, one of the things that we could probably start doing is we could probably start looking at look and feel classes. So doing things like taking this play button and the stop button, trying to find some icons, some player stop icons, and things that are useful for people that are building applications or plugins. Like, how do you take a PNG, actually import it into and put it onto a button? How do you create a custom button? How do you import a font and have an interesting looking font? How do you create like a style sheet, some sort of, and give your application some type of general look and feel, and give it a color scheme and things like that. So I thought that could be a good starting point. I was also thinking about maybe we could build an audio mixer that that looks at where we add another one of these audio tracks, and then figure out how to mix those together using like so we'd have to build like a virtual mixer. So that's something I've done before. You know, you can build like a crossfader that moves from one track to the other. So that's that could be a fun one. We would need to employ some type of panning effect. Yeah, so these are some of the things. But one thing that I thought that we could start off with is just, I have this document, and what I'll do is I will actually share this to the README afterwards, and I'll put it to the repository. But I thought that what I could do is I could just start typing down some of these ideas and start figuring out what features that we're actually aiming for in this application. So this is like my Notion document. So we could say, so we could have one area that we say general, and then we might want to say implement color scheme and custom UI graphics, implement fonts, I can't spell today, custom font. So we could look online, find some type of open source fonts that we can use. I have an idea of which types of ones I like, and I'm actually, I'd love to hear your suggestions as well on this. So we got that. Then yeah, another area is that in Serato, of course, you have beneath, you have some type of playlist that it's a list of all the tracks that you can actually select. So I'll just call that the playlist area. And so like another area that I've been thinking about a lot is file formats, metadata. It's not, unfortunately, JUCE doesn't supply very robust features for getting metadata from audio formats. So the other day I was actually taking a very a deep dive into file formats and looking at how you pull out the artist name from a wave track versus an MP3 and things like that. And that's actually a pretty dense area of discussion. So one of those things is find a sensible library for pulling out metadata. Then there's actually a lib that I've used in the past for another DJ app that I built that found the BPM. So it's actually pretty good for finding BPMs. So find a lib or track BPM, list metadata in the playlist. Then we're also going to want to have some sort of drag and drop functionality where we would be able to click on a track, drag it to a player, drop it on the player, and then the player starts playing the track. So drag track to player, and yeah. So maybe I'll just say drag and drop track to player. Let's see what else do we have. So let's pull up Serato again, and let's see what else would be something that's not super in depth to implement. So of course, another thing that we want to do is eventually we're going to want to have some sort of digital vinyl system. So this is called DVS, and there's and so that's where you hook it. You can actually make it where you can actually use Serato records or Tractor records on your own digital vinyl system. So you can there are a couple libs out there. Each one of those has their advantages and disadvantages. So one of those libraries is called Miss Pinky. That's the lib that I used for the other app that I built called Scratch Champion. Problem is that the person who invented it, he works for Apple now, and he doesn't really support it anymore. I actually wrote him the other day to ask him if he could create a static lib that works on Apple Silicon, and he didn't answer me back. So I'm taking that to assume that he's too busy to do it now. So we got Miss Pinky, doesn't support M1, or at least from what I know, it doesn't support M1. There's also an open source one that's completely open source. It's called XWax. That's actually written in C. So I collaborated with the developer named Matthew a few years ago, and he actually wrote a C++ wrapper around XWax and miraculously got that working, because to me it was quite dense, but he actually got that working. XWax is completely open source. It's also the type of digital vinyl system that the other open source DJ application called Mix, which is quite fully featured. That's the lib that they use. So that seems like a pretty good solution. Then I was speaking to a friend the other day, and he was saying he actually looked at the C code for XWax, and he said, you could probably build this, you could probably build a basic one yourself. That sounds challenging, but I think it would be a great learning lesson for me. I know that I would learn a lot from doing that. And maybe I could go down that rabbit hole and do that, but that might take a little while to do that. So there are a couple options there. Doesn't feel like Miss Pinky would be an option anymore. Then there's X-Wax, and then building our own. Then of course, another thing with doing this is that we would need is not just implementing the PCM, the PCM time code system, and you hook it up and it just works. Doesn't work. It's not quite that simple. Then you have to write some, you actually have to write the logic for interpolating between the sounds. So if you're, if you have a song that's playing and you take and you pull the record back and you stop the record, or you pull it backwards, you have to have interpolation logic in your audio that says now the user has just moved the location of the song from one point to another point, and be able to interpolate between the point where it was and the point where it is, and be able to do that every audio callback, or every so many frames. So yes, that's another thing that we would want to create, is interpolation logic. So like pitch, etc. So that's another thing that actually Matthew, who I collaborated with a couple of years ago, he had written this logic, but I can't use that. Can't just straight use that without his permission. So I'd either need to speak to him about it, or we could go on a journey and implement our own. And it'd be probably great to get somebody from the community in to actually help write that. So that could be fun. So yeah, so those are some things. Let's take a look at the Serato application and see if there's anything. So another one that we could do is like a playing, like a waveform display that updates. So we currently have one that shows the thumbnail of the current song, but it would be great to have some type of playhead as well. So then we could create another section. We'll define this as a playhead, graphic display. So what do we want there? We wanted to update song location, and we wanted to display spectral, what would you call that? Maybe just like something like amplitude feedback, or power spectrum feedback, visual feedback. Okay, so we have that. Yeah, so I think those are good. Then, one thing that I think that would be quite easy to add is we see here how there's a you have like these filters, looks like a 3-band EQ, things like that. So those could be interesting. So, and I think pretty easy to implement. So let's see, we'll do another header and we will do audio file. I'll just call this audio player. So there we have filter and 3-band EQ. Those are things I'm not too crazy about implementing those. I mean, they're cool, but not necessarily, in my experience, not necessarily useful to have one internally. A lot of mixers have those on the mixer, on the gear itself. So yeah, I mean, it could be cool. So maybe actually let's make this like a mixer. So we could have like a crossfade control. A gain for each channel or each player. Yeah. So I'll share that to the README. But today what we could do is we could look at maybe looking at some color schemes, UI graphics, and see if we can implement a custom font. So great. So enough talking. Let's start coding. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the file explorer here, and let's see. Shall I create I'll just create a header file, and I'll call this style sheet. And this will be a place where we define what color scheme that we want to use for the application. So I'm going to create another folder. I'm going to call this look and feel. And I will put this in there. One thing that I find annoying is that I like my source folder to reflect the folder that I actually have in my project. So I'm just going to do that now by taking this look and feel folder and just dragging it here. Dragging style sheet underneath of it, dragging all of that into the source folder. Let's see, so there we go. I'll just put this down here at the bottom. Oh, now it dragged me out. A pain. Okay, cool. That's fine for now. Okay, so here we go. Now we're in the style sheet. It's nice and blank. And what I'm going to do to help save us some time is I'm actually going to look at this on my other screen and see how I implemented the how I input the font on my other application. So JUCE has this typeface class. So let's just go over there to the typeface class. Hopefully we won't get, I've found in the past that getting getting custom fonts into JUCE can be a little bit of a pain, where they show up sometimes they don't, things like that. But let's see if we can get, I mean, we only have a couple text elements anyway, so let's see if we can get the get it in there. So there's this method called create system typeface for, and it takes a font. But then the question becomes, where do you actually put the font, right? So so first of all, let's find the font. So I think there's like, for me, I'm gonna go gonna go try to find an open source font. So let's see here. So what's a good one here? I'm looking for like that kind of classic New York subway type of font. So New York subway. If you've ever been to New York, you know what I'm talking about. So like something like this. So I come from a hip hop background, so this feels like home to me. So this type of font, it's kind of I don't really know a whole lot about fonts itself, but that feels like a good one to go with. Fonts. Oh, so this is just Helvetica. I'm wondering if Helvetica is just inside JUCE. Let's take a look at that. I mean, that would take away some of the fun of us actually implementing a custom font, but let's just take, yeah. So yeah, and I thought that that they would already be in here. So we can see that Helvetica is already in here. Just for the fun of it, let's take a look. Let's take a look at trying to get another font in, just so we can actually do that exercise for ourselves here. So open source fonts. I think there's one called the font, maybe, or and we could try this. Okay, so let's see here. We want to find, I think, a font that also has a bold, at least a bold and a plain type of font. So let's scroll down here. So work sans looks kind of interesting. So there's a bunch of them here. So let's see, let's put New York State of Mind by Nas, one of my favorite songs. That looks cool. I don't mind actually kind of going away from the typical. So this is extra bold. That looks cool. So can I just download this then? Okay, so we got so let's do download law. Okay. So I haven't done this in a while, so I hope you bear with me as I struggle through this. I'm going to take the folder that has this. I'm going to drag it to the desktop. Unzip it. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm on my other screen here, but so here we go. So we have here we have the Work Sans fonts, and here are all of the fonts that are inside of it. Okay, so now I think that we need to add this to our resources in for our project resources in in JUCE. So let me just look back. Yes. Yes, so I need to add it to resources. So this is actually a good little workflow here that we can go through that I've done before that will help teach some people that are looking to learn how to do these things. So basically we have these resources, right? And those resources could be something like this, which is a font. Also could be like a PNG. So if you have a PNG resource that you want to show on a button, then that's another scenario for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder in my project. So I'll just get back to where all my source code is. And so here's where my actual JUCE project actually resides. And I will create another folder called resources. And then what do we want? Let's just bring in two or three fonts here. So there was like an extra bold that I really liked. So that's extra bold italic. So let's go back to the web page again. So where is it? There we go. So let's see so semi bold looks pretty good. So semi bold could be the something that we could start with, and then we would want a plain. So we'll go with semi bold 600, and then we'll go with like a plain font. So semi bold. So I'll actually just copy it rather than then do we want thin or do we want plain? So let's take a look at that. So let's do it thin. So that's thin. So thin may be a little bit too thin. Regular. I think regular looks fine. So let's pull in regular. Okay. So now we have semi bold and we have regular fonts in this resource folder, but now we have to use the binary builder, I think it's called, to actually bring it into JUCE and actually bring it in as a resource. So if we go to the applications folder, then go into the JUCE folder, then there's, I think it's in extras. Okay, so we got extras, then there's the binary builder, and now I have to remember how to actually use this thing again. So yes, so the binary builder is actually a shell script. So you use it with your command line application. So here we go into well, I thought that you did. Let me just Here I've pulled up the binary builder itself. Maybe I actually have to build it first. So we've opened up the binary builder project. Now we're going to build this. Okay, so we got build succeeded. Now let's see if we go into builds, into Mac OS X, then into build, and debug, and binary builder. So now the way that this works is that we open up our terminal. And then let's drag this binary builder script in here, hit enter, and let's see what it says. So binary builder. So then we have this usage where we call binary builder the source directory that we want it that our resources are at, target directory where we want them to be, target class name that we want the name of the class where this. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to create a new source file, if I remember correctly, that actually has these resources where you can actually call them. And yeah, probably just explains this better in this part here. Binary builder will find all the files in the source directory and encode these into two files. Target class name .cpp and h, which it will write into the target directory supplied. Any files and subdirectories of the source directory will be put into the relevant class, but if left out, using the name of the subdirectory. Hard to explain, but obvious when you try it. Okay, so here we go. So let's just try this. So can I just call this just like this? So if I go binary builder, then we got the source directory. So what I did last time that I used this was I actually just made the source directory and the target directory the same. So we just need to go back to so here we are in the resources folder. So our source directory, where our resources are, is in resources. Right. And then the next thing we want is target directory. So let's see, do I want the so let's see here. I'm just thinking if I want to put these into like a separate folder called like assets or something like that. Yeah, why not? So put that into assets. Just so it separates it from the source code. So just need to change this now to say assets. And so the next thing is the target directory, which I want it to be resources. So just drag that in again. Then target class name, which I will just call resources. Resources. And hit enter. Oh, command not found. Oh, what did I do? So there's something that I've missed. I think it's that I actually need this. Yeah, so I think what I need to do is I need to do this. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Didn't actually drag in the script, so it doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about. So if I could just take all of this, I could just copy that. And then I go back a couple lines. So this is the location of the binary builder script. Applications, JUCE, extras, binary builder, builds, macOS build, debug, binary builder. So that's the script itself. Now I will paste all of the stuff that I said before, and I will hit enter. And says source directory doesn't exist. So I did something wrong there. Okay, so let's go back to the source directory. JUCE DJ app. Resources / assets. Hold on. So yeah, source directory doesn't exist. Oh, I need to get rid of this little binary builder. Now that should work. Boom, there it is. So now you see two resource files there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and add those resource files over to my source code. So yeah, so now what I can do is I'm going to create a new group called resources. And notice this is not inside of source code. So just bear that in mind when you actually drag all of that in. That keep your file structure the same. And so that goes like that now. And now we should be good to go. So now we've pulled this in. We've added those assets, the TTFs, the fonts, to our resources folder. We've used the binary builder to actually create where we can actually call these in code now. And now you got all this complicated stuff. And now what we need to do is we will go into our, so now we'll go into source, now we'll go into style sheet, and then what we need to do is we need to include the resources folder. So we'll do include, then it's going to be, let's see, so it'll be ... So we're going back a file directory. Back again, that'll take us outside. So let's take a look here. So we are here. We're in look and feel in style sheet. So now I've gone back a directory, back another directory. Now I need to go into resources. And it bothers me a little bit that that it's not doing autocomplete, but we'll try to work it out. Then resources.h. Resources.h. And we also want to include our JUCE header here so we can actually be able to call JUCE functions. So we'll include JUCE header.h. There we go. So I'm going to go back here. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back to my so now what I think I could do is, what do I want to call this a class? So I'm just going to go back to my I won't call this a class. So I'll just, so I'm going to call static, because I only want one of these to exist throughout the entire application. And now we'll go back to the type place, the typeface class reference. So we want static pointer. So let's just look at that class really quickly. So static typeface pointer. So it needs to be JUCE typeface pointer, which is what we're returning. Then create system typeface for, create system typeface for, and then here we want the font. So the font is going to be over here. I'm just going to open this up in a tab, in another tab here. And what we want to do is bring this in as so there's an extra function here that I'm forgetting about. I'm just going to check. I'm going to cheat and check my other source. Yes. That's what it is. It's that there's an override method here that allows you to call a pointer to the font data and the font size. So what we want here is, let's try this bold one. So this is in namespace resources. So we will call resources. Boom. And then resources. And then we need the size of what this is. Okay, I think I did that right. So I'm just going to try to build. I don't think that this, so it succeeds, but I think that I actually need to bring this into, let's bring this into main component. So let's see here. So I will I'll just call this resources or assets, maybe. Then include dot / resources. No, sorry. I don't need to do that. I need to do look and feel style sheet. And now this should let us know if there's any mistakes. So see, we got a problem here. So no matching constructor. So let's make sure that the method is actually called properly. So is that a JUCE? That's a JUCE typeface pointer. Okay, create system typeface for? Oh, it needs to be so this is a pointer to it. So do I need to do this? No. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even give it a name, of course. So I would just call this plain font. What am I doing? So this is like this. And then it's JUCE typeface. There we go. And then this needs to have a, okay, I think we should be good now. Yes, build succeeded. Awesome. So that worked. Okay, now we need to bring that into, we need to identify that as our font for our look and feel. So we need to create. So let's see here. So we need to create a look and feel. Then we need to add that as our the font that we want to use. All right. So I think what I could do is, I don't have anything else I want to do with this look and feel for now. So I will just call JUCE look and feel. And I'll call this DJ app LNF. And then let's look at the look and feel class here. So I'll just duplicate this, move this to the left, come back to the class list. Then look and feel. And so we got get typeface for font. So we don't want to get it, we want to set it. So now how we allows you to supply a default typeface that will be returned as this default sans serif font. Set default sans serif typeface name. Okay, so this takes the typeface pointer. Okay, so this should work. Let's see. So I guess look and feel. So it doesn't have any, doesn't need to take any. Okay, JUCE look and feel is an abstract class. Okay, so looks like there are some pure virtual methods that we need to implement. Is this right? Get tick shape. Get cross shape. Oh, I'm starting to remember how to how to do this. Because that's right. Because JUCE updated their look and feel classes. So this is actually, so you actually want to use look and feel underscore B4. B4. That. Okay, let's build that, see if that works. Okay, so that works fine, that compiles. Then now here I can do DJ app ONF. Set sans serif. Set default sans serif typeface. And then this I should be able to call this directly. So from the style sheet, should I call it plain font? So I'm going to put this in namespace. So I'll call this namespace. Call it resources. Should we call it? So I'll call it namespace style sheet. And like that. Just make sure that compiles. Oh, build failed. Why did it fail? Oh, it didn't actually tell me why. Oh, yeah, of course, I didn't finish this. So then I should be able to call style sheet plain font. That. I don't like DJ LNF, DJ app LNF. That is kind of not a good name. I'll just call it custom look and feel. Look and feel, and then do I need, so there was something that I needed to do, something else. So let's see what else we got here. There's like a set look and feel. Set look. Yeah, there we go. So the question is, should this go before or after? So this will take a address location to our custom look and feel. So just call this custom look and feel. That. Let's see if it works. So we got build succeeded. I don't think that that's worked. Oh, this assertion is triggered if you try to delete look and feel while something is still using it. May still being used as the default look and feel. Okay, so make sure. Generally, the fix for this will be to make sure you call set look and feel back to null pointer on any components that we're using it. Okay, so that means in the destructor, we need to call this set look and feel. back to null pointer. Okay. So okay, so I did that for, did I do the plain? So I did the plain font, I think. Actually, I can't tell the difference between the default font and the plain font. So I'm going to set it to the bold font now. So let's go back to our style sheet again. Well, that's semi-bold. So this is semi-bold font. Semi-bold font. And then static JUCE typeface pointer, plain font. And then that will be JUCE typeface create system typeface 4. Use this one again. Go to resources, work sans regular, and then resources work sans size, and like that. Okay, but that didn't solve the problem though. So I'm going to call this, actually, I'm going to call this bold font. I just need to fix my indenting a little bit. There we go. Now we go back to the main component again. This needs to be bold fonts. Place it. Okay, still hasn't worked. Okay. So now the question is, if the child components are getting the same look and feel as the parent components. So so let's go. So the one that we're concerned about is the view. Let's see if we can call like some sort of method like get look and feel, get current look and feel, something like that, that returns a string that tells us what the current look and feel is called. So I imagine something like that would be within the look and feel class. So get current look and feel, something like that. Not seeing it. Set color. I'm just going to go in here and see. Aha. Well, this is a problem. First of all, I'm calling this function. I'm setting the font here, which is going to, of course, override any sort of look and feel that's happening in. Oh, so set fonts. Okay, so let me just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just comment these out for a moment. Let's just see if it actually fixes our problem. It looks like it does. So that does look like it's, does it look like it's bold? Okay, so So let me just make this a little bit bigger. I should have created a font that was. I should have used a font that was a lot different. So let me do this. I'm going to do that for that one. And then for artist, I'm just going to use the other font. See if we can tell the difference. So we should be able to tell the difference between the fonts. No, it's the same font still. Okay. All right. So next thing I'm going to try is this. I'm going to go. I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to try to include this directly in the class. Include. So this would be ... C ... slash oh no, style sheet or look ... slash look and feel style sheet. So now I'm going to just try to pull in the font directly and see if that changes it. Then we know that I'm not doing something correct with look and feel. So now I'm going to just look at what I can use to call a font. Class list, font. Typeface name. Okay, so we can actually pass in the typeface pointer directly into here. So I should be able to just say, what did I call that? Style sheet, bold font. Oh, and let's do that now. Okay, it's tiny, but it seems to work. So now let me just try this. So if I do set font, so this is the label class. I vaguely remember the label class being a little bit of a pain. So let's do label class. Set font. And then you could do new font. What about like set size? Get font. I need to go. So we got a little width height. Okay, so I could do this width height. Oh, F dot width height. Um, 24. Okay. Yeah. Ah, it works. There it is. We see that it's bold. Right. So that works now. Yeah. It's not too different from what I already had. It actually looks a little bit sharper though. Yeah. So Marvatronics, Martin, hey, what's up, Martin? Says, I always use a really horrible font at first, so it's obvious if it's working or not. Like something cursive or something. Yes, probably should have done that. Okay. So one thing that I was thinking is that I probably don't need to set my look and feel to this, do like a whole custom look and feel thing just yet, not till I not just yet. I only have two things that I need to set so far, which is the artist name and the title and the title. So I do this with yeah, so I can do the same sort of thing here. Da-da-da. That in there. Boom. That does look cleaner than what I had before. So, but I guess the main thing that, you know, the things like the buttons now don't have that, don't have the font, because those haven't carried through to the buttons, which is problematic. Okay, so let's see if we can now get this to reflect through the look, reflect through the look and feel. So I will go back to the header. I'll bring back the custom look and feel. I will bring back these methods. And let's see if that works. No, it does not. Okay. Then you've also got the problem that you don't want them all to be the same height either. So maybe it's just better to just leave it. Well, then you got, okay, so you don't need to do that. You actually would need to, because later on what you're going to want to do is use that on, you're going to want to overwrite how the button is being drawn for all the buttons. So actually we don't, well, we do want this. So we do want that, like that. So we do want to set a custom look and feel. But now we're going to need to do a look and feel class that overrides from look and feel v4. So what I'm going to do now, should I do it just in here? Maybe for now, I'll just do it in here. So we'll call this class what will we call this? I'll just call this custom look and feel. And this is going to inherit from JUCE look and feel v4. So now what we want to do, and this should be an adventure, and then this should probably be enough to conclude us for the day. What we want to do is just going to put an asterisk on the name, and I'm going to show you what we got now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the labels back where they were. So what we want to do is we want to get all of these buttons to now show with the bold font now. So that is our mission for this for the rest of this session. So first thing I'm going to do is go back to my view. I'm going to set these back to where they were. Get rid of this. And I'm going to just call that for a track length. Okay. So now we have our look and feel v4. And then let's see if we can actually remember how the heck to do this. Draw combo box. So there should be like a draw button. Oh, I remember button was another one that was a real pain. Oh, here we go. Get text button font. Draw button backgrounds. Is that what I want? Draw button background. Okay, let's check, right? So if we go to so I'm going to go to the audio player view. We go to the text button class, and then there's going to be a, well, I thought there was going to be a draw button background function. But let's see what paint button says. Okay, so here we go. Get look and feel. So you do have to, so you do have to what would be nice if there was a method that where you could actually just get the name of the look and feel that's implemented at the time. I'm sure there must be a method to do that, or some way to do that. Okay, so it looks like let's just try something, right? Let's just see. Let's look at button look and feel methods. Yes, this is something that I never quite understood, which was it gets you back the text button. So what would you do? Return that, and then what? I have figured this out in the past, but I'm seeing if I can figure it out again. I actually enjoyed the exercise. So let's just start with draw button backgrounds. So just making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so just going back, I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I'm going to actually go back to what I did before here and figure out how I did it. Just looking at my source code, I'll just pull this over so everybody can see it. Draw button backgrounds. How did I set the font? Get label fonts. Yes. Now where? That's right, because if I remember correctly, the button uses a label to actually display the the button uses a label to display the text. Just going back to this again, just remembering what the heck I did it, how the heck I did this. Yes. Oh, this is just. Oh man. UI class is combo box layout. And then what I had was I created. Did I create a subclass of a label? And I used that to actually set the label of what it was. Trying to remember. Ooh, I don't know. That's a little bit heavier than what I was looking to get into today, but I remember that being a pain. So let me see if I can actually go back and just remember how I did that. So there was so you have a text button class, right? So let's go back to the documentation. Just making sure there's no, so let's go back to the class list. And then let's see, is there a label? Any label methods? Label, font, anything like that. So and I could probably do like get look and feel. I could do something like this. Maybe I'll just do this really like quick and dirty, which would be something like so let's grab a button. So oh, this is the wrong class. So we got load audio button, right? So you could do something. Oh, I could do it. I could do it here actually. So once again, just go back to I think maybe I'll do that for now. Which would be audio player. So you got the track name label. So you got text buttons. So you got load audio button. Load audio button. Get look and feel. Set font. Set set sans serif. This one. And then here you would say style sheet, bold font. Let's see if that actually works. Okay, it does. Yeah, we can see that. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but it's actually showing up a little bit bolder than the other two. And I could do that. And let's just make it I make it bigger. So let's see component. So it goes back to button. Set button text. Not seeing anything for no get label or anything like that. Why can't they do like where you would be able to get the label back? So you got set button text. You get the string. But I guess that it would be okay, so let me see here. Let me just do that for all three buttons. Play audio button and stop audio button. Play audio button. Good look and feel. Set sans serif. Set default. So I want to go back here for a second because we've got typeface. So typeface, and that returns a pointer. Then you can, yeah, so get name, get height. Yeah, it doesn't. Just trying to think if there's a way that I can pass in a typeface pointer, create a font, and then create a font in line with the height that I want. But I'm not seeing that. Style sheet. And stop audio button. Get look and feel. Set default. Style sheet. Bold font. Just want to go back in here for a second. Oh, you could do get typeface. Get typeface for the font. No, that doesn't do nothing for me. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine for now. It's not exactly what the goal is at the moment, but I think it works. Yeah. It sets all the buttons to the right font. Then we can load this. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. And then what we can do next time is we can work on setting more of the colors and doing some more styling. So I will commit this to the repository. Then, let's do CD. Then I'm just gonna find my get add, get commit. Added custom font. Get push origin main. And there we go. Cool. So that was a little something. Went through some basics of setting fonts, how to import fonts into your project, things like that. Yeah, I think it's a good start. And then maybe next time we could start going through some more themes around look and feel, and actually setting some custom colors, creating a custom theme, things like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and you found this helpful. I'm going to go ahead and grab some lunch. I hope everybody has a great Saturday or Sunday, and I'll speak to you soon.